Tina Marie. I'm with Neuroglow. Neuroglow is a ketamine infusion clinic. We do psychedelic medicine. We are located in McKinney, Texas, and in Flower Mound, Texas.
My name is Momin. Basically, our business is called Neuroglow. We're basically a ketamine infusion clinic. Right now, we focus on psychedelic therapy. When I say psychedelic, basically a lot of people might think like, okay, people are going to come to this clinic and trip out. And that's what we do. But it's in a very controlled environment. We're basically ketamine drug that has psychedelic properties, but it also has been researched really to treat treatment-resistant depression, anxiety. The research is strong on it, so we're not out here just doing random things. Everything we do is backed by science, and we've helped a lot of people, and really our mission is to help as many people as possible with this type of therapy. A lot of people come to our clinic, they've tried everything else, and this is kind of a last resort for them. That's what kind of keeps them going. We get a lot of people that have told us like, hey, if it wasn't for the clinic, they wouldn't be here. So that's our fuel. That's what keeps us going. I mean, that's kind of our mission, honestly. And I think me and Tina are pretty passionate about that. It goes beyond, I mean, yes, it's a business, we got to survive, but it's a passion project in a sense too. I didn't really know about all the people that we could help before we started. We kind of didn't know what we were doing when we started, but seeing all the people that we help, it kind of keeps us going. And Tina can talk to you a lot. She has a lot of love for veterans, and we've helped a lot of veterans and stuff like that. But this is just, yeah, that's what we do. And a lot of people are talking a lot more about this type of therapy. And you're going to see it in the next couple of years. I think it's going to really revolutionize the way we kind of treat mental health, honestly. So that's where we're at.
Okay, so stay there right for a moment, okay? The revolutionary side of mental health, and like you're going to revolutionize mental health. What do you really mean by that, and what do you see with that?
Well, when I say revolutionize, I feel like, look, my background's in anesthesia, so I'll say that out there. I'm not a psychiatrist. We work with a lot of psychiatrists and therapists, but I see it from a different angle, right? I see it from the outside looking in. Psychology and psychiatry right now is limited to a certain amount of medications that you can give somebody / therapy that you can give somebody, right? And that's great. I think it works for a lot of people, right? But for about 50% of the people, that doesn't work. What do those people do? What are the people that have tried everything? They've been on every medicine. They've been on every therapy, and they're like, look, this ain't working for me. My next step is I'm checking out. I'm done, right? Those are the people that we are helping, right? And when I say revolutionize, this type of therapy has been around, I think, if you look at traditional cultures for centuries, look at South America, they've been using psychedelics for healing, right? But going back to what he said about revolutionizing, it's not really revolutionizing, it's bringing a modality that's been around for our civilization. There's a form of this probably in every civilization. I mean, you look at South America, you look at Africa, you look at all these areas, there has been a form of this, but in America, it's like, all right, you're depressed, here's some medicine, they don't work, try some therapy with it, that don't work. I mean, that's it, right? So as an outsider looking in, I saw like, there's a huge limitation. What do these people do? I mean, you look at the suicide rate in America, it's one of the highest. You look at the suicide rates among veterans, it's one of the highest. It's one of the highest. So it's like, what do those people do, right? And I feel like this is not only backed by science, but we work in this field. We've seen it with our own eyes. People coming in that's been on 4 or 5 medicines, and within 6 months they're off all these medicines and they're living a normal life. I'm not saying that happens to everybody, but we get so many people that are like, wow, this, I didn't know, no one told me about this. I didn't even know this thing existed until I randomly saw it online. And I think that's where society is heading. I think they're like, people need options. They just don't want to pop another pill. And I'm saying those medicines might work for a lot of people. And I'm not knocking on that, but there needs to be more options for people. And I think that's what we're bringing to the table, and we're trying to do it in the best possible way. Highest customer service. We want to treat these people with respect. When people come to our clinic, they've been through the ringer. Sometimes they're like almost emotional just talking on the phone because they're like, wow, y'all are just nice on the phone, right? because
Yeah.
they're calling around mental health clinics. They're flooded with patients. You're just another number, right? So we're trying to make that human connection with people too, because it's not like these people have been looked over, most of these people, because they've been told, hey, you're crazy. But we've talked to psychiatrists before and they will agree. I mean, they're limited. They're just like, after this, we don't really know what to do. We just go up on their dosages. But this helps kind of open up basically your thought process, the way you process the world, the way you process everything around you. It makes you see it in a different light and hopefully make that pivotal change in your life. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And so is this only for people who are that, I don't want to use the word far gone, because that's
Okay to say far gone.
is it? Okay.
Yeah, totally.
That they've tried everything else, or if you're earlier in the depression cycle, if that's a thing, does it work there as well?
Let's talk about my story. And
Okay.
I'll make it like
Oh, yeah.
about me and be opening up. And I went through a super hard time this year. I think it was a consolation of just life catching up with me all at one time. Not healing. I'm treatment resistant. I can't take antidepressants. They make me numb, fat, psycho. Every side effect you read on an antidepressant, Tina
You
Marie
get it.
gets. I get it. I've tried it and I've went through a bad time. I'll just be open. We're on a podcast, right? I was sexually assaulted
I'm
4
sorry to hear
years
that.
ago. Thank you. And I didn't take time to heal myself. I did think going on an antidepressant and going to therapy was enough, but it wasn't enough. Went through a bad breakup and everything hit me at once. And in December, I had it. I was at my wit's end. I didn't want to go back on antidepressants. And I thought, you know what, how can I work in psychedelic medicine if I don't try it myself? Right? I was scared. Oh my God, Momin, I was so scared. We had a film crew come in. I had our therapist come in, our doctor come in, because I wanted to film it for the world to see that I'm an actual human and I
Right.
work for us. My
Right.
job is to outreach, coordinate, and let people know in the community, like, we're here to help. And I've worked in the psych field and the addiction field for years, and my background is in psych. But to actually go through it, and the first time to go under, and I thought, I'm never going to wake up. I'm going to go under, and I'm going to go to a scary place in my life. And I did 6 treatments within 2 weeks. I did a booster. I've been in intense therapy. But, you know, my first time going under with ketamine and going into that, we have this amazing music you listen to, a whole team, a crash cart, totally supervised healthcare professionals around you, a whole team. This isn't just a one-man show. Our
Right.
clinics are
Right.
legit. So when I went under into my ketamine journey, it was like kaleidoscope into my past. And I mean, at one point I was riding a big wheel down the streets of Chicago in the city. And that was a childhood memory that I had that I didn't know I had, that psychedelic brought back to me. And it made me so happy. And one part of my journey, I was petting a cat, and I love cats. And before I went in, our therapist said, let's talk about things that make you happy. We want you to go back to a happy place and work your way out of the stuff that went bad in your life. And I'll tell you what, Atiba, in December, I didn't want to live. Tina Marie was like, I don't want to live. I
Wow.
could cry talking about it, but I didn't want to live. It's like, I'm done with breakups. Yeah, I'm going to get super emotional about it, but I'm here, and now God's mission for me is to go out there and tell people, meet people like you. I mean, we met in Vegas.
Right.
And now look at us, we're in Dallas. But anyways, psychedelics is here to change the world. We're on a mission to change one life at a time. I can think
Right.
about a veteran I had a phone call with 6 months ago. That guy had tried to kill himself so many times. He was an alcoholic. He was on meds. He had been in and out of psych wards. And when I just happened to get a call through one of my veteran connections, said, Tina Marie, can you help this patient? I said, well, let me talk to him. I'll try. I don't know if he's going to be open to psychedelic medicine, but I'll tell you what, he came into our clinic when I told him, what if I treat you with psychedelic medicine? How do you feel about that? He said, I could do that in Texas? I thought I had to leave the country. I said, no, we'd be happy to help you. Finances were an issue with him. We worked with him. And his testimony is on our website. He's offered to go on a podcast with me and talk about it. And He's back to work. He's not on meds. He's living society. He's not drinking anymore.
So let's dive in there, right? Because I think that's a really interesting side of this here. And the two sides. So one, for those who are ignorant, just don't know, you hear this and you think, okay, I'm going on drugs. So now I'm just going to get addicted to a drug. That's one side. But then both of you have said did some treatments, came off of medication, right? Is that like, did some treatments, a placebo, came off of medicine, stopped drinking for a little while, and then, 4 months later, you're back on again?
And I think that's a really important question. I think we address that from the beginning before somebody shows up for their first treatment. We tell them, like, what is your intention of starting this treatment with us, right? Like, you got to define those goals before you start something this big, right? We help them define that. And one of those goals most people want or have is that, look, A, I don't want to feel like the way I do.
Right.
A lot of people's like, hey, I'm on a lot of different meds. If I can just get off one or two of them, I'll feel better, right? So we define those goals in the beginning, and then we work to get there, right? And we tell them, like, look, ketamine it's not a silver bullet, right? It's not going to just come and just work magic on you. You don't have to do any work. It's really a 50-50 thing. It's going to help a lot on what's happening on the neurochemical brain side and the psychedelic properties it has. But if you come in there and you just like, you don't got no goals, you have no vision for what you're really trying to do.
Right.
We're pretty candid. We'll tell people, like, if you just come here and get this and go home and not work on yourself, within about 2 months, you're probably going to feel exactly how you do before you came to us. You know what I mean? We're pretty transparent about that. And we tell them, like, we don't want that for you. This is a time commitment. It's a money commitment for people. So how do we not do that, right? And I think going back, it's about intentions, about goal setting. And then you actively work to get to that goal. And unfortunately, I think society and the way medicine is now, it kind of trains you to be like, okay, I have this, so I just take this medicine and it
solves everything.
It just solves it, right? Like, and then what happens? You're on that medicine the rest of your life, or you're on that whatever for the rest of your life, right? Ours is a little bit different. It's like, yes, ketamine is a medicine in a sense, but we're actually using it for a transformational experience, right? Trying to use it for, this is almost like a stepping stone or a pivotal moment in your life to change for the long term. And what happens, a lot of people, they get these intense first series of infusions. It's about 6 infusions over like a 2 or 3 week period. And they feel good. They know this is working for them. And there's people that come back to us every 2 months, every 3 months. They might get one infusion, but at least they know, like, all right, now they know there's something that works for them. As opposed to before, they're like, nothing ever worked for me, right? And in between, to me, that's still a victory, because these people have gone 2-3 months without any other medicine, or they've used those 2-3 months to wean off their medicines. Yeah, and we work with psychiatry. We don't tell people, like, hey, just take these meds. We make sure it's supervised. And there's some people that can't get off of them, which is fine, but they're actually able to function in society better, right?
Yeah.
They have a relationship with their spouse or whatever. They can hold a job, you know what I mean? They're able to get that spark back.
Yeah.
It's a synergistic thing, right? It's working better than it was before. But we made clear to them, look, this ain't a silver bullet. You don't just come, do this, go home, boom, magic, everything's good.
We have an ecosystem. When Momin and I started talking about the journey of, like, transformation, wanting to get better, stepping outside of the mental health box of take meds, follow up with your psych doctor, see a therapist, boom, you're done. Really, if you look at the body in a whole, we were able to bring on a meditation coach, Damien Ryder, out of Australia. We brought on Paula, who's a functional dietitian, to look at the whole body and diet.
So you're doing holistic.
Yeah,
right?
a
It's
whole
not
approach.
just ketamine, a holistic approach to your health.
Exactly. So we're transforming what mental health looks like. Typical mental health clinic, you've got a psych doctor and some NPs.
And that's it.
Yep. And we'll see you in 2 months for your prescription review.
Right.
And how are you doing? They do ask. Doctors, there are a ton that do care, and there's a ton that...
But they don't have the information.
Right.
And when you have everyone working with you, and information share, you get better
Right.
treatment.
Exactly. And recently, I just talked to Rick Ferris. We brought on a Farm D, which we need to involve a little bit more with our patients to look at what meds are you taking? How is that working with your body? So we've got a meditation coach that's included with your ketamine treatments. We have Stormy, our integration coach. We've got Paula, our functional dietitian, Damien.
We're bringing on a full-time therapist in July. That's really going to kind of help bridge that gap too. And one thing, we're still kind of looked at from the psychiatry or community as like, man, who are these people? You know what I mean? Because we've been into offices and they're just like,
Yeah.
we're a threat, right? Like,
Right. And that's how they see it.
it's like, wait, you're trying to get people off meds? Like, you know what I mean? Like, our business model is to keep people on meds. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
they come every month. And again, I don't want to say too negatively on psychiatry, the medical professionals out there. It works for some people. I'm not saying that, what they're doing is wrong, but we haven't had that support until literally the last 6 months. You see it on the news. You see Elon Musk tweeting about it. You see every week there's an article in major publications now, and they're not just like any. So that movement's there now. We getting therapists reaching out to us, versus before 2 years ago we used to go to talk to therapists. They'd be like, they'll literally not respond. I don't know what y'all are doing. We got therapists reaching out to us like, how can we be involved in this? We know this works. So we're bringing on a psychiatrist, right? And when we told him, and he conferred everything we said, is like, he's a psychiatrist. He's in this field. And he's like, we're limited, right? We're limited. There's only so much you can do. There's like half of the population, they need something different. And so again, going back to the ecosystem. So yeah, we are trying to build that system for people, because a lot of people, if your diet sucks, you can get all the ketamine you want, but your vitamin D levels are horrible. You're gonna feel bad because your body's not optimized. So we are slowly working in those things too. And I think for us, we were an outsider looking in, and I think that's why we were able to add these things, because we weren't in the system. So for me, when I go in, like, why isn't nutrition involved? Why isn't these other things in
Body.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like a no-brainer. But I think if you're in the system, you don't think of it like that.
And I think on me working in the psych world for so many years and watching patients go into an acute psych hospital, what made them psychotic? What was their breaking point? And sitting in with the discharge team and watching the care team put together their plan, I felt like a lot of things are missing. What about their diet? What are they eating? Who's their dietitian? If they're malnutritioned or if they're overweight or they're just in the middle. We do get a lot of questions. This has been a big one for me lately, is will you all offer ketamine at home? And there's companies doing it at home right now. You can go on the internet, on Facebook or Instagram, and order your ketamine at home kit. But I would love to do a podcast about my house and what it looks like at home. I got dirty dishes. I got dogs barking. I got my dog eating out of the litter box. My other, ketamine.
Yeah, it's not safe.
No, your ketamine journey should be peaceful, a whole team around you. It should be relaxing with a whole ecosystem ready there to help you and change your life. And Momin and I are on a mission to change lives one at a time. And we're not about the money. We feel like if we can seriously change people's lives, the money will come, and the more money that comes, the more people we can help.
That's right.
We're not looking to get rich over changing lives. We're looking to enrich lives. And in that return, it's something that I'm real passionate about, and Momin is too. It's about putting together something for our veterans. We are working hopefully closer with Marcus Capone. He's amazing. Okay. He's got a whole Vets Foundation.
Marcus Capone, he created an organization called VETS, VETS, is Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. He's an ex-Navy SEAL that he was on SEAL team, 12 or something, like the highest level teams. He was a real soldier, and obviously he saw stuff and he had PTSD, etc. He came back from serving, and he basically had a gun to his head, and he tried stuff, and he's like, this ain't working. He was married at the time, and basically somebody said, hey, you should try ayahuasca in South America. And he was like, oh, what's it gonna hurt? Let me just go down there and try it. It completely changed his life. This was like 5 years ago.
Amber told me when we went out to the vets conference or vets gala out in Coronado, she's like, I was done with him. We were done. I was at my wit's end. Something had to change. He wasn't taking charge of his mental health and went away and did psychedelic medicine and came back a changed man.
Wow.
And now they're out to change the world. And we just happen to be like, you know what, we're from Texas. I work with a lot of veterans. We want to help you change the world.
We went to this gala of his in California a couple months ago. We were at this table, and at the table there was like, I think 2 Navy SEALs there on our table. And both of them were like, we were going to kill ourselves, basically. We came back. I feel bad for these people. These people out there serving the country, they come back. They're nothing. They're in the system. They went to the VA. They're like, it didn't help. And these are young people. I'm not talking about these like older. These are kids in their 20s, early 30s. Got their whole life ahead of them. They're like, I'm just going to end it all because I can't see a way out. But they were all helped through psychedelic therapy. And now they're actually giving back. Those 2 that we met, they're in organizations to help veterans get into psychedelic therapy, whether it's in Mexico or Marcus Capone. He's setting up an infrastructure to refer people to clinics like ours that can help these veterans for free because a lot of them, they have PTSD, they can't hold jobs, they can't afford this therapy.
Right.
So I think it's just a start, honestly. His organization is awesome. Y'all should look it up. I don't know who's watching it, if anyone's going to see this, but
we need to get you next November out to November 11th.
Yeah, he does it on Memorial Day. But the event was awesome, and it raised, I don't know, I think maybe $5 million, and
wow,
all kinds of people there. And Rick Perry, the ex-governor of Texas, was there as a keynote. Yeah. And the reason I'm bringing that up, because this guy is like a hardcore right-wing Republican. As a keynote speaker at a psychedelic conference, that shows you it's not like a left or right thing, right?
No, it's a human health thing.
Yeah, Rick Perry, country dude out there telling people, hey, we need to support this cause, right? And it was kind of mind-blowing because you don't associate that country,
right, exactly,
right-wing Texan person, but he's out there like advocating like, hey, we got to get these people help. He knows it works. He's helping at the legislative level of getting more stuff legalized.
That's awesome. So let me ask you guys this, just as we kind of bring it all together.
Yeah,
and we started by saying the name of your company, but how do people actually find you? What's your website? How do they reach you? Somebody who needs help watching this, how do they reach you?
A lot of people find us online. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Google, neuroglow.com.
Or people just find us online, and we actually we're trying not to be so impersonal. We got somebody 9 to 5 that if y'all are interested in finding out, you call us, somebody actually will pick up the phone. They actually will talk. If you fill out a form online, contact us, they'll contact you that same day and talk to you on the phone. And it's not just about getting you in the clinic. They're going to ask about your life.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
This is great. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up. Change the world one patient at a time. All right.
Thank you for coming to Texas.
Oh, absolutely.